Welcome back to Feel Better with Lauren. I'm Lauren. Today, another edition of what I call Successable. Successable because it's designed for success and it's a little bit more accessible. This is going to just be short, sort of 15 minutes as a threshold, and I'm going to err to the side of modifying the poses so that they're a little bit easier. So a plank might put their knees down. If you want to make the poses more challenging, I'll also tell you those. But let's get at this right now and get ready for success and feeling better. This is another edition of Successable. Success, accessible, I should patent it. It's that good. So let's just start off in the middle of our mat, our space. I think you should get yourself a mat. You can keep on DMing me on the one that I use. I freaking love it. And if you make mats and you want me to try yours, I'm super tall and super heavy and I need a lot of grip. So let's start off in the middle of our space. Do yourself a favor, sit on a cushion. Raise your hips a little bit up. We're just gonna sit in this easy pose, this cross-legged with our legs crossed in front of us. We're gonna just maybe push down a little bit. And I've got my blocks today. These were free. You can get other blocks as well that are probably a little bit better that I have at home. And I'm just gonna push myself up so that I'm seated as sort of balanced as I can on my sit bones. And that sort of just keeps everything in line, everything in straight. Now that I've got this easy pose, this cross-legged pose here, I'm just going to take a little second. I'm going to sort of feel what I'm feeling, feel how balanced I am. And I think what I'm going to do today actually is cross my legs the way that I don't usually cross them. And that just sort of balances out things a little bit more as well. I'll keep my hands on my knees. And I like to just move around a little bit. No one's around, no one's watching you. It's just you and me, and I cannot see you. Just sort of move around a little bit, back and forth. You just want to check in with yourself. It can be as spiritual as you want to check in, but it's mostly just about getting a sense of where your body's at and sort of getting that communication going. And that in itself is joining your body and your mind. It's just talking to itself. Okay, so I'm just slowing everything down, move my head around, move my shoulders around, just sort of check in with everything. And I've got sort of the usual spots for me, which is I'm very tight in these intercostal muscles between my ribs, and then my back, sort of my SI joints here sort of always get caught up. So I'm going to sit as straight as I can. And with each inhale, as we know, we inhale and we expand the spine or expand the joints that we're thinking about. And then when we've expanded them on an inhale, we can exhale and relax into that expansion. So one's sort of opening up and one is just sort of existing in that. Now, the first thing we do is always in through our nose and out through our mouth, get rid of all that residual air. So big inhale in and push all that air out. And once more in, fill up every cavity. Maybe that makes you sit taller and all the way out through your mouth. And once more in through your nose and all the way out through your mouth. Okay. Now that can start slowing everything down. For the rest of this, just breathe in and out through your nose if that's comfortable for you. And we have that restrained breathing. It's called Ujjayi breathing. And it's like fogging up a mirror, but with your mouth closed. And you sort of restrain the back of it. It's almost sort of forceful and conscious air going through your nose. So in and out through your nose, 3 to 5 seconds in, and 3 to 5 seconds out. And just take a moment and slow everything down. Now, on your next inhale, bring your shoulders as high up to your ears as you can, almost like you're getting picked up It stretches your spine a little bit. I'm not pushing with my hands, I'm just resting there. And hold them in there. Keep breathing in and out through your nose. And you're just flexing everything there. You can engage your stomach. And just hold. Just sort of breathing with that intention. One more breath. And then release everything down. Just roll out your shoulders for a second. Just your shoulders. Forward and back. And I'm going to do that once more. So inhale. Expand your spine. Your shoulders go to your ears. You're still breathing. And you're sitting as tall as you possibly can. Everything's engaged. Your core here is even engaged. And then relax everything down. Now, I know so many people that have sore necks from, and I'm one of those people. I'm reading my phone too much. I'm sitting poorly. And a lot of times for me, it's not just my neck that's out of whack. It's actually in between my shoulder blades. And that's sort of pulling on my neck. So sometimes stretching out your neck alone is not enough to get rid of that tight sensation in your neck. So now what we'll do here is let's just go into that sort of prayer position where your wrists are about the same height as your elbows, where your thumb is touching your sternum. Stay nice and straight sitting up. Nice and proud. Interlace your hands and push your hands all away far from you. Push to the other side of the wall. Separate your shoulder blades. Keep breathing in and out through your nose. Your front is engaged. And then on your next inhale, above your head as high as you can, just lifting you up by the shoulders again, like someone's there grabbing your hands. And you're getting taller with each inhale in. And then your left arm goes out nice and straight. Engage your whole arm from your shoulder to your arm, and just grab the side of your head and pull your head gently so that your right ear goes to your right shoulder. And then these really, not just circles with your hands, this sort of engagement with your left arm, making little tiny circles. And then go the other way. And maybe the other way again. And your other way. Now just stop there. So you've engaged all these muscles here. What I want to do one more is I want you to try to straighten your head, but I want you to resist with your right hands. So try to straighten your head up. You're pushing against your hand. You're still nice and engaged with your left arm, and you're just sort of doing a firm pressure against your hand. Keep breathing. And one more breath in. And relax that. Now, the next is to put touch your right arm to your right shoulder, put your elbow back as far as it can. Keep your shoulders square and grab the side of your head and try to smell your armpit. And as you open up, you're sort of stretching your neck and pulling down. Nothing should be hurting here. And it doesn't matter how deep you go, it's the sensation of stretching out your shoulder, your trapezius, your neck, and just relaxing into that. And one more breath in, and relax down. Now, both hands on your head, you're going to relax and get your chin to touch right to your shoulder. Try to sit up straight. All right. let that sort of just relax down, stretching at the back of your back. And then we're going to do that same resistance. I'm going to try to raise my head, and I'm going to stop myself from doing it. I'm not hurting myself. I'm just engaging those back muscles. Keep breathing. And inhale and exhale, relax. Maybe you can stretch a little bit more. And then we're going to do it once more. Just sort of firm pressure against our hands. And inhale and relax. You can stretch a little more. Now again, left hand on your left shoulder, and you're going to try to smell your right armpit on this way, stretching out like a bow and arrow. One more breath in. And then now we grab with our left hand, our left ear to our left shoulder, our arms straight out, engaged right arm. And again, those little tiny circles. And the other way, and the other way, and the other way. And now stop, still keeping your arm engaged, and you're going to try to straighten your head the other way. Resisting with your left hand, pushing against that. Keep breathing. Keep yourself straight and open. Keep the front of your body engaged. And then one more breath in. And let go of that. Now, we left it up here, up with our hands above our head. Now put our hands behind our back, interlace them the other way. And tilt your chin up. And just keep breathing on that. Stretching the other way now. And one more breath in. And back into that prayer position. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. With my blocks on, I'm going to go to the back of my mat now. And these are some of these sort of standards that I like doing because I find I don't ever not need this kind of thing. So I'm still cross-legged. My hands go above my head again. My hands holding like a beach ball above my head. Everything's engaged above me. And then as I exhale, I'm going to hinge at my hips. And then once they don't hinge anymore, I'm going to let my body fall over top of that. And my goal here is to get my elbows going towards the mat. Each inhale in, I get a little extra more space, and I sort of undulate and roll down into that position. And inhale, push yourself up, cross your legs the other way. Again, hands right above your head, really straighten your spine, get some space, and then again, hinge at your hips, and then let the rest of your body fall over so you get this sort of stretch along your back. Then inhale. Push yourself up. Now from here, just roll over onto your knees. If you want to put a cushion underneath your knees, you can do that, or a folded up blanket. Let's go onto our toes, and we're just going to stretch the back of our feet a little bit. And you can have your hands facing forward, like a little, making an L in front of you with your hands. And just sort of gently pushing back. And sort of with each push back, I'm still breathing. I'm getting a nice stretch in my feet. And keep breathing in and out through your nose. And once I sort of relax into that stretch, I'm just going to be able to undulate and move forward again. So I'm going to inhale all the way forward and then exhale back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now, our fingers facing the sides of our mat. Do you want to come in? Okay. Hold on. Okay, sorry, back on my toes. My fingers facing the sides of my mat, about 2 inches space in between. And again, I'm pushing back into my toes, and then forward, and then back. And definitely no pain here. There's a stretch feeling, but there's no pain. There's lots of little bones in your wrists. You're not trying to push too much. You're just trying to get everything moving. And then finally, if you can, your fingers facing your knees. If you want to make this easier, you can put your fingers actually touching your knees. If you want to make it harder, you can move them away. And again, we just go back and forth a little bit. Inhale, come back up onto your toes. Hopefully your feet are really feeling it. Shake out your hands just a little bit. And then off your toes, with your big toes almost touching, your knees apart, and then just sort of walk forward into this child's pose as far as you can. The modification to this is just to keep yourself as straight as you can. Maybe you can only go down a little way. Maybe you can only go this way. You're getting a stretch in your hips. You want to try to keep your hips onto your heels. That's the first part. And then after that, you can walk yourself down, putting your forehead going towards the mat, putting your chest going towards the mat. And inhale in, push yourself up, and let's go into that tabletop. Knees below your hips, your wrists below your shoulders. And we'll do a little cat-cow here. Again, if it's uncomfortable on your knees, put a cushions underneath of it, or folded up blanket, nice and soft. And let's just do a little cat-cow. So for the cow, we drop our belly as much as we can, put your butt up in the air and your head up into the air, and that's on an inhale. And then as you exhale, tuck your tailbone underneath. That engages the front, and spread your shoulder blades apart as much as you can. Then inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, cat, push everything away. I'm always surprised when I see this on video. I think I'm doing something really, the arc of my back is huge, and it's not. It's this sensation, though, that I know that I'm doing it right. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more time. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Now back to tabletop. We're going to do a puppy pose now. So your knees are below your hips still, and you're just going to walk your hands out. So you can see wherever your stretches is good, maybe that's as much as you can. Otherwise, your head's going towards the mat as much as you can. Your chest is following along, and your butt's up in the air. And every inhale expands your chest. And one last inhale in. Push yourself up. And we're going to go into, still following in where we're going, into a supported plank. So instead of being up on your toes, you're on your knees, you're engaged, your body's engaged, the front of your body's engaged, your hips are engaged, you've tucked your tailbone underneath, and you're pushing the ground away. And separate those shoulder blades again. And just find some good stability here. Again, if you want to raise your knees, that's what you're feeling, definitely do that. But otherwise, this is all about form. This is all about feeling better. Keep breathing. And one last inhale in. We're going to do a chaturanga. It's called chaturanga dandasana, but in this, I call it a yoga push-up. And instead of raising my hips, I'm going to tuck my shoulders in, and I'm going to lower my body as slow as I can to the ground. And that's all the way down to the ground. Keep your hands where they are, and you're going to untuck your toes, and we're going to do this baby cobra. So you can think of the cobra lifts their front off. You can use your fingers as a support. You can use your hand as a support, but you're using your back to pull up your chest. You're engaging your butt. You can open your feet a little bit more if you'd like. And you're just going to hold yourself up. And keep breathing as you hold yourself up. If you want to take your hands away, you can. But otherwise, you're supporting yourself with your hands. Just keep breathing into that. Keep holding. Keep your butt flexed. Breathing in and out through your nose. And one last breath in. And relax down onto the ground. Rock your hips back and forth. And do that so that I haven't locked them up. I've engaged them, but I haven't locked them up. Now I'm going to do my push-up that got me down here. I'm going to push up back with this. So my knees are going to stay on the ground. If you wanted to, you could go onto your toes and lift up your knees and your quads. But for me, I'm just going to keep my knees on there, and I'm going to give a nice slow push-up. Back up to that supported plank, and then back towards a downward dog. So onto my toes, lift up my knees, and just pedal out your legs a little bit. Get everything straight. Everything is in line. And then once you've pedaled out your legs a little bit, you can work on getting a straight line from your wrist to your elbows to your shoulders. your head as well to your hips, and keep your legs as bent as they want to be in order to get that straight line. And then what I do to straighten out my hips is I go up on my toes and then send my heels back. And that'll sort of tell me what my max is. If you can go all the way down and put your feet flat, all the power to you. I cannot. And we're just holding this there. I am next going to walk my hands up to the back of my mat, and I'll end up in a forward fold. But what I'll do, just for the sake of this camera, I'm going to end up at the back of my mat in a forward fold with my hands are on the ground already, so my feet have come to match with me. And then I'm going to do a supported version of a forward fold. So in this case, I'm going to put my blocks onto the long position, or maybe they're books, and I'm going to work on straightening the back of my legs. So my legs are nice and straight, and I'm going to fall down as much as is comfortable with my legs as straight as they can without locking my knees. Find a nice version with your blocks. There's mine. And let the top of your body sort of hang loose and get a real nice stretch going on. And again, each inhale in sort of stretches your spine, and each exhale allows you to hang even more. You can see that I can actually touch the ground now from that sort of stretching out. I'll keep my hands on the blocks right now. And one more last breath. I'm going to put my hands behind my back. And maybe that's enough for you there. But I'm going to do a seal version of this fold. So again, working on keeping my legs nice and straight. And I'm going to let my arms fall overhead. It gives me a little bit of weight, but it also stretches out my shoulders. And again, I'm only going as far as it feels. Maybe your arms go way above you. This is where mine go. And one last breath in. I'm gonna let go of my arms, but I don't want them to fall flying down to the ground. I just want to go there. Now, from here, with my feet sort of hip distance apart, I can use my blocks again to help come down. And I want to go into a squat. This is something I think that if you can work towards getting to a squat, if you can't, it's a great place to be. However, you could kneel right now if you'd like. You could go into a ball if you'd like. I want to keep my back straight. I'm using these blocks of stability. You can maybe roll out your hands if you'd like. Interestingly, once you find this spot and find that stability there, it's actually really comfortable. It's just a matter of getting to that spot or place where your body likes it. Now, again, with my blocks in front of me for some stability, I'm going to just lean forward. I'm going to put my butt up into the air and roll all the way up with my hands over my head. Again, holding that beach ball and going up to the sky as much as you can. Straightening your spine. And come back to that sort of prayer position while you're here. Again, you're nice and balanced. The hands are right in the middle. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk to the other end of the mat now. into that, and I'm going to go back and I'll end up on my back. So from this sort of prayer position, and my hands go right to the air, and then I'm going to go and squat down. But actually, no, that's not that I'm doing this. I'm going to go down into a ball. Nice and low, and then I'm going to slowly go into my back, just sitting right there. While I'm sitting, I'm going to grab my feet. You can grab behind your quads. You can grab your shins, whatever version you like of this. And I'm going to slowly roll back. So let's just roll back, grabbing my quads and my feet and my knees follow behind. I'm going to grab onto my knees. Maybe you want to grab onto the outside of your feet for a little happy baby. I'm just going to grab onto my knees and just pull my knees, armpits. And let my hips fall open. And get a nice stretch going on there, right? Into that. One last big breath in. And we're going to do a soup twist. So our knees go together and we roll over to our right. Put your right hand on your left quad and you want to let your left arm. Now, you want to be able to look as far as you can that's comfortable to over. Maybe you don't want to look at all that way. Maybe that's enough of a stretch between, and we're pushing our left shoulder towards the mat. One last breath in. And slowly bring your knees back up to your chest. You're going to squeeze your knees into your chest. That, I find, just straightens everything up, puts it all back in a line again. And then put my knees together again. And they go off to the left. This time, roll on your side. Your left hand holds onto your right quad and your right arm falls open as your right shoulder goes towards the mat. And one more breath in. Knees come to your, the dogs are going to go crazy in a second. And my last thing here before Shavasana, which is corpse's pose, put your hips down and push your hips into the sky. For bridge pose, tuck your shoulder blades underneath. Your hands can stabilize yourself. It doesn't matter how high up you go. The higher it's good. Engage your butt, engage your hips, engage your pelvis, right up to the sky. One last thing, up onto your toes if you can. So maybe your hips are not up that high. Your hands above your head if you can, and slowly bring your back all the way to the ground. Let it land down there. Your knees come to your chest, and then put your knees to the four corners, your legs to the four corners, and lie there in Shavasana, the corpse's pose. Your palms facing up to the sky, your shoulder blades tucked underneath. And we'll see you in the next video. It's a rest. Always talk to your healthcare professional before starting a new regime. If you experience pain, discomfort, or dizziness, slow down or stop. These videos will become easier each day, but if it doesn't feel right today, go slower or move to another video. listen to your body.